Craig.
Today, it's just Craig and I. It's just you and me.
Yeah, nice and cozy.
Yeah, I'm so excited to get a chat with my bestie. We have a bunch of cool episodes coming up, so I was actually looking forward to this one. Nice and relaxing.
Right before a busy schedule.
I know, but I'm so excited. We have so many fun guests coming on soon. But I have something to tell you.
Uh, oh, okay.
I think that I'm going to give you one more chance. Okay, wait. Before we get into this, for everyone at home who doesn't know, Craig and I have agreed to disagree on who followed who first on Twitter. Okay. But the truth is that Craig followed me first. Craig?
Sure. If I disagree, but sure.
Okay. So I have the proof. And what the way that I found this proof was I went onto Twitter, and if you go onto your profile and your followers are in order based on who followed you first. Now,
hmm
my very first follower was Deep Hearts YA, and my second follower is Deep Desires Press. Now, what does this point to for you? Does this point to for you that I followed you first or that you followed me first?
I don't think it proves anything other than
Yes,
I
it
was your
does.
first
It
follower, but you
no, it
probably
doesn't.
followed me
No,
first.
no, because no, because you know, okay, I did not have social media before I wrote my book. I
Mhm.
wrote my book, I submitted to the one publisher, and then I was super quiet like a good girl. Now, would I have followed another publisher when I was out on submission with a different publisher? Would I have done that based on the character that you know of me? Would I have done that? As loyal as I
Uh,
am.
to egg you on, I want to say yes, but what I actually know of you, no. So maybe I did follow you first. That is the one and only time you'll hear me say that.
Well, I have it recorded, so that's fine.
That's
Um,
true.
but yes, no, I'm telling you, I remember it really well, and it is a really, really cute thing because I did look over at my husband when I got you as my first follower, and I saw that it said Deep Hearts YA. And then, Craig, I know you remember when I first wrote You Can Call Me Cooper, it was originally like a male adult romance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but when I saw that it was Deep Hearts YA that followed me, I jumped out of my chair at my desk and I showed my husband and I was like, look, I got a follower. It's a publisher. And I was like, oh, but it's YA, and then we went into the whole, my husband's like, well, maybe it could be YA one day. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so. There's too much sex in this book. And then it was not the next day, it was the day after Deep Desires Press followed me then. And I was still on submission with the other publisher. So there were no followers in between because I wasn't going around following anybody.
All right. I don't normally follow someone first. I'm more of a
Mm-hmm.
follow back person,
Mm-hmm.
but I will take your word on it. I This is your early Christmas gift. I take your word on it. I
Oh,
believe you.
thank you. Thank you so, so much. I'm so happy. I would never lie to you. And I think you know that too, right?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Yes, I would never lie to you. And I would never try to make myself look better. But I do know that you don't usually follow people first.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think it was just meant to be.
It must be. Must be.
Yeah, it must be. Look at all the good that's come out of our friendship. So I think
hmm
it's definitely meant to be. And now I have the proof. And now you agree. So the argument's over. And we needed this, by the way, because we have Battle of the Besties coming up.
That's true. That's true. We need to prove that we're better besties than Jake and Brandon.
Yeah, and I don't want anyone pulling anything out and saying, well, these two disagree on that because that's it.
hmm
I don't know that there's really anything else we disagree on. So there we go. I think we're good there.
Yes.
But I wanted to tell you, I had this really interesting thing happen with one of my friends this week.
hmm
She has recently gotten to a new relationship, and the relationship is only about 10 days old, but she told me that she is in love already.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Right. And she was feeling really bad about that for some reason because she
Hmm.
said she's in love, but she felt ridiculous to say it. So she hasn't said it to him yet, but she said it to me. And
hmm
I thought that that was pretty interesting because, well, for me, I love that she's in love. And whether it's, like puppy love or whatever it is, I think it's great because I love when people are happy. But I was talking to her and I think it's something that I've always wondered. And it's more about just like that thin line between love and hate. People always use that expression, right? Like there's a
Hmm.
thin line between love and hate. But my question is like, why is it okay for someone to decide like within 5 seconds that they hate something that they've never even given a
Hmm.
chance? And then it's not okay for someone to say that they love something as soon as they get it.
Hmm.
Why is that not accepted? I don't understand. What's the difference?
Yeah, I don't know if I have an answer to that because I mean, wait, I guess it depends what you're talking about because I could say I love this pizza and no one would have an issue with that. But if I say I love someone or I hate someone, yeah, they're going to be some eyebrows are going to be raised if I say I love someone 10 minutes after meeting them. But if I'm like, I hate that backstabbing
And no one's
SOB,
gonna care.
yeah.
So why is that acceptable? If those are the two most like fierce emotions that we can feel, right, as humans, or love
Hmm.
and hate? No,
Hmm. Oh yeah,
I would
I
say,
agree. Yeah.
right? So then why is one acceptable and one is not? I don't understand. You know if you like something, right?
Hmm.
And I think that I had not thought about it before. I'd always kind of thought of only like one type of love. Um like a love between spouses. And then,
Hmm.
obviously you have like the paternal love and then there's the friendship love and stuff. So I think that as I've gotten older, I've just come to believe like what the Greeks believe that there are like 8 different types of love.
Oh
And
yeah, I agree.
yeah, because I was thinking about that, when she said it, and I was like, well, let's just talk about, the relationship and how it is. And, it sounds like, definitely a form of love, and it is for her. And she hasn't been in a
Hmm.
relationship in a really long time. So,
Hmm.
like, why shouldn't she feel love for this person? Does that mean she's going to die for him? No. That's a
Hmm.
different kind of love, right?
Yeah, I find it interesting that we as society sort of shun the idea or laugh at the idea that you can fall in love with someone so quick, especially given the whole romance industry, whether it's books or love stories and movies or romance movies or TV shows. Like there's that whole concept of insta love, like love at
Mm-hmm.
first sight. And
Mm-hmm.
like that's what people want to read. That's what they want to
Right.
watch. They love that concept. But when it
Mm-hmm.
happens in real life, it becomes almost something laughable.
But why is that? Does it make
Yeah, I don't
sense to
know.
me, right? Like, and like, especially like, even like, and all friendships are different, right? Like, we have our
Mhm.
friends who are guarded with their feelings. We have our friends who are open with their feelings. Like, you and I are unique because I think that for me, like, I'm probably overly emotional with you, right? But I
Mhm.
pull a lot of I feel like I pull more of your emotion out than you give to other people, right?
Oh yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. So for me, it's a love, but it's not a love like I want to be married to you or like I want to
Right.
sleep with you. You know what I mean? Like it's a friendship love and it's like it's special. But like for her, I wanted her to feel comfortable with what she was feeling because it was making her almost shy away from the feelings that she had for him. And
Oh, it's sort of almost self-sabotaging in a way.
yeah, yeah. And she's like, I shouldn't feel this way yet. And it's, I can't feel this way. And I'm like, well, I think you feel what you feel, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we can deny the way that we feel about something, but it doesn't mean we don't feel that way, right?
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I wish her luck though. I'm excited. I love when
yeah,
friends are in love, don't
yeah. I
you?
want that. Yeah, I want that to work out.
Yeah, I hope it does. I'm sure it will. But I always think about that. Whenever I talk about the different kinds of love, I always think about Yuri on Ice with the
Oh
eros
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
agape love. God, I love Yuri on Ice.
Oh,
Anyone
me
who's
too.
listening to this who has not watched Yuri on Ice, stop what you're doing after this podcast and go watch Yuri on Ice because it's so cute.
It's
But
only what, 10 episodes? Like
yeah, it's
it's not
pretty
a
short.
big thing to get into. So even if you're not really into anime, because I'm generally not into anime,
I
but I love
know.
that show. I love
I
it.
love it so much. But they were supposed to be making I think it was a movie. And it
There
was
was
about young Victor.
yeah, and there was also a season two in the works, but both of
Yeah.
those things are years with no updates. So I don't know if they're coming.
Yeah. Well, they recently, it wasn't that long ago. I think they came out and they said, I think it might have been the movie, the Victor movie. I think they canceled it. They just said that they didn't have a
Ah,
need for it.
okay.
And people like me were like throwing our phones in the air. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, well, there absolutely is a need for a young Victor show. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
um,
like I'm two ways about it because I really want more Yuri on Ice or the Young
mhm,
Victor stuff. I want it like so much.
yeah.
But I do kind of like the idea of sometimes not seeing these things because sometimes you want them so bad and then they just don't measure up.
And that happens so often, like with a second season of something. I'm
Yes.
trying to think of something that I liked the second season better than the first season. Can you think of anything
So
on top
some
of your
shows
head?
do get better as they go. So I'm a huge Star Trek nut. So
Yes.
Star Trek Deep Space Nine, around season three, I think, whenever Cisco grows his beard, that's where that's sort of like it's pre-beard or post-beard.
Yeah.
Post-beard is much better.
I think I think Parks and Recreation is one. That's one you haven't watched, right? I'm sure we talked about that and
No,
you said
I
you
think
didn't
I've
watch that one.
seen one episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a show that I really do love. But my husband and I had been egged on by our friends to continually watch it. And we were like, we're not watching this show. We're not watching the show. It's boring. We don't care. And, forgive me for saying that now because I love Parks and Recreation so much. Um, but we like it. Have you and John ever done this where you want to watch a show so bad that you'll like watch a few episodes, even if it kind of like doesn't click, just so you can give it like a fair chance?
Yeah, yeah. So most shows, like we yeah. Whenever we start a new show, we're committed to at least a few episodes before we decide. Because sometimes that
Yeah.
first episode is just so much setup that, you know.
Yeah. I feel that way. Like I was going to suggest to you guys to try Parks and Recreation, but as a full-on lover of Parks and Rec, I can and I have all the DVDs, so please don't anyone think that I'm not a mega fan because I absolutely am, and I could pull quotes from every episode. But when we first started, like those first three episodes, I was like, eh. But then it just now I could watch the first three episodes and they're the funniest thing to me because all the
Mhm.
characters are like all so great. And it's really fun. It was a well done show. So for that show, I think the second season maybe was better than the first. Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Mhm. Yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, it happens.
it does.
Yeah, but with Yuri on Ice, I like the happily ever after. Like I know that they're together. But I would like to see like the Victor and Yuri like at home.
Yeah. And if there was a second season, I would want to see more of some of the other characters. So for some reason, my favorite character is, and I might mangle the pronunciation, Pachit, the
Oh,
Thai
I love
skater.
Pachit. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's so cute. Peachit. I think it's is it Peachit or Pachit? I don't know how you say it either.
I think it ends with a T, but
Peachit?
for
I don't
listeners
know.
at
Yeah.
home, I'm hard of hearing, so I go by the subtitles, so I'm just going with how it's spelled.
Yeah. And I don't know how to pronounce anything because I'm an idiot. So if I say something wrong, it's just because I
But
said it wrong and I'm
the
sorry.
important the important thing is we both know what we're talking about.
And we both understand what the other one's talking about.
Mhm.
So it's fine. But yeah, Peachy is cute. Um, Chris too. I thought that Chris was like I thought that he was like a pervy kind of character. And then like by the end, I was like, I love him. He's so great. Like he was so team Yuri and Victor, like towards the end, that I just thought he was like so funny. And like
Is
his
that the one
performance
that
was so over the top. Yeah, over the
he's
top.
very sexual in
Yes,
his? Okay, yeah,
yes.
I remember him. Yeah.
And they're like in the pool together. Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah, we won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, even though it's really old. But
Mhm.
you should watch it. And the music is really great in that show too.
It is, yes, I really like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get you to watch more anime. But see, this is the problem with you not living near me because I can't technically force you to do
Yeah.
anything,
So I have seen the first season, or is it the first two seasons? I think just the first season of Demon Slayer.
Yeah, Demon Slayer is great.
Yeah, and I've seen some anime movies. I saw, oh darn, it came Suzume.
I didn't see that yet.
Yeah, that one was really good. I like that.
We have it on our watch list. But it's so because I lost my mom and my brother not that long ago, anytime
Hmm.
I see like anything like overly emotional in the beginning, and it started out like with a scene that I feel like there was like a little kid or something, and she was maybe looking for a parent. I don't know. There
Oh yeah,
was
yeah. There was something like
something
that, I think.
happens right in the beginning, and like my eyes like teared up instantly, and my husband was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're not gonna watch this tonight."
Hmm.
So, but I've heard that it was really, really good. And I
Yeah.
love the colors, like it looks really good. And
Yeah,
I
there's gorgeous animation. And we watched it in it was Japanese, right? So we watched it in
yes.
Japanese with English subtitles. I prefer the language that it's produced in because it always just sounds more natural.
Well, yeah, and it's a there's a difference in the way that it's translated, and then sometimes the way that they say things in the US is not the same, or for whichever country it's being translated in, it just doesn't hold the same meaning. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and for someone that relies on subtitles, even when it's in English, dubbing is really complicated for someone like me. So the show Dark on Netflix,
Hmm.
phenomenal show. If you're into sci-fi, you have to watch that. But we accidentally watched the first couple episodes in the English dub. The
Hmm.
subtitles were translated from German, but the
Oh.
subtitles didn't reflect what the verbal translation was. So
Hmm.
the actors were saying something different than what the subtitles were saying.
Yes.
And I was so lost. But then we
Oh,
figured out how to change the audio. That was like in our first month of having Netflix. So we were
yeah.
very confused. But we
I
figured out how to fix it.
oh I always talk to you about Heaven Official's Blessing.
Hmm.
And I love Heaven Official's Blessing. I've already said it a million times, and I'll say it a million more times by the time we're done recording this podcast. I love it. I love it in all forms. And I think that the English dub actors did a very good job. And I'm a huge fan of voice actors in whatever language that they do because I think that what they do is an amazing thing.
Hmm.
But it's difficult, and I'm just using this as an example. It's difficult to have a book and then have like because the English dub came out after the original came out.
Hmm.
And the English dub is does not match at all. Like there's
Uh,
okay, well, I'm not going to say at all because that's not fair. There's a lot of things that don't match in the English dub. And there's a lot of really important, like emotional, like powerful lines, I feel like, that
hmm.
are missed because they're translated differently.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that comes down to how the translator interprets it and
Yeah,
words it.
I
Yeah.
actually reached out to Crunchyroll about it as soon as I got
Hmm.
my special edition Blu-ray DVD. This was before I was working for you, so I was had free time then.
Hmm.
But
Must be
but
nice having free time.
I don't remember it now. Now that we've been working together for so long, I don't remember what free time was. But I had time, and as soon as I got the Blu-ray, I messaged Crunchyroll. I was trying to get a hold of the company, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys can fix this, but this is like they're wrong. And like um like there's a big thing like I mean like Jilian like Wachung does not call him Jilian. He does not call him that at all. It's just that's not what he does it. But in the English dub, he constantly calls him it. And like in the book, he
Hmm.
doesn't call him that. And in the English dub, he does. And it's just something that's like a mega fan that it drives me crazy because I'm like, Wachung would never say that, So
Hmm.
so it's one of those things. But I also have you guys didn't watch, I don't know if you would watch a sports anime. Would you get down for a sports anime?
So I've seen the first season and a half of Free.
Oh, yeah,
Uh,
I love Free.
yeah, and I've seen. A, so I have a friend. We have a friend that when we go over, sometimes she'll show us stuff. So I see like two or three episodes of a bunch of
Hmm.
things. I
Hmm.
saw one about a high school volleyball team.
The haiku?
Yes, that's it.
Yes, that's my favorite. Oh my God. I need to show you on my camera. I'll have to show you the next time. I'll turn my camera so you can see. Haiku is like everyone has their comfort show. Like you have Star Trek and then you have your other stuff. Like when John goes away, you have your special stuff that you watch.
Hmm.
Like haiku is like my thing. Like if I'm sad or anything, I can just put haiku on and that's like my comfort food. That freaking anime, I don't care if you don't like sports, that anime is so freaking good. I love it so
Hmm.
much. I'm so happy that
Hmm.
you've seen it. How many have you seen? One or two?
Normally we watch between 2 and 4 episodes, so
Probably like
probably
a
about
few.
three. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that one, but there's a lot of people who don't like I'm like a big character shipper in the anime,
Hmm.
and you're either like a shipper or you're not, and that's probably not the right term, but I don't care. I'm old, so
Yeah.
forgive me. Um, but I always pair people up. I don't care. And in that show, like I'm a big Kagehina fan, and that's Kageyama and Hanada, or Shoyo and Tobio, however you want to call them, and I love them. That's the one and only fanfic I've ever written is about the two of them.
Okay.
That's it. That's
All
it.
right.
Yeah, I love them. I think they're really great. But that show is really fun. And I think it's pretty, I don't know. There
Yeah.
there are undertones of a relationship between the two of them.
Yeah. So when we go over to this friend's place, she will tell us to watch for those undertones in
Oh,
whatever we're
does she?
watching.
I
Yeah.
need to know this friend. I should meet this friend. This friend
Yeah.
maybe has a lot in common with me then. Because yeah, and it's funny because people who don't see it, then when you point it out, they're like, "Oh."
Hmm.
But in the Japanese subtitles in that one, there's a part where they say, "Hey, you two get in here." And in the English version, they say, "Hey, lovebirds, get in here."
Ah, okay.
Because I guess we can say that here or not say that here. My friends and I have had a great debate about this, about which one was right, because
Hmm.
Callie is always on team the English dubs are wrong sometimes.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But
So,
sometimes they give you what you want, I guess,
right.
right?
So I was taking the position during that argument that, of course, the English dub is right because the English dubs are always right. And they were like, Callie, are you serious right now? So, but it worked to my advantage in that argument. So.
Hmm.
I used it. Um, so I wanted to talk a little bit about social media too. I figured that since this is just the two of us, it's fine for us to just talk about whatever we want. We don't have to
Sure.
talk always about writing when it's just you and me,
Oh, no,
right?
no. No.
Yeah. Yeah. For everyone at home, Craig and I work together, but remotely. So
Hmm.
we're just in chat all day. So these experiences when we get to actually be on Zoom with each other.
Well, how often has a 15-minute meeting turned into 90 or 120
Oh my
minutes?
God, I know. It's so funny. I last weekend when we were doing what was it? I was coming back from Home Goods and I was like, I need to meet with you for 10 minutes. It's gonna be super fast. And my husband and the kids were like, okay, yeah, she's gonna be working for the day. And
Hmm.
I'm like, no, 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 it'll be super fast. And my husband's like, girls, you have a few hours. So yeah, no, it's never 15 minutes with the two of
No.
us, that's for sure. Um, but I know I said it like a lot, but social media, I'm still really getting used to it. And I don't know if you can help me understand something because you have so much more experience with it.
I'll
Um,
try.
why do people like stuff that they don't even read? Like they don't even read it.
Yeah.
Do
So
you do
I'm
that?
guilty of that.
You do?
Sometimes I'm guilty of that. If it's clearly someone's book promo, like I will like it.
Oh, okay.
And I'll quite often retweet it, even if I don't read the whole thing.
But that's different. That's book
If it,
promo.
yeah, and
We're
if
publishers, of course.
yeah,
That makes sense.
and if it's on Instagram and somebody's sharing some pictures, as long as it's not like a picture where like someone's pet might have died, I'll give it
Hmm.
a like
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
support, or maybe I like the picture, but I won't have
Yeah.
read the post.
Yeah.
Um, in general, beyond those sort of specific situations, I don't really do that because like I view the like button as either A, I like it and I want to make sure
Hmm.
it's something I like,
Hmm.
or it's like you have my support. Like sometimes if someone's
Yeah.
saying like, oh, I just had this bad day because this or this
Hmm.
happened, and like
Yeah.
I'll give them a like. It's like,
Yeah. No, I get
I
it.
support
It's like
you.
a
Yeah.
hug. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Or
But
not a hug. I don't know.
randomly liking things, I'm aware that people do that. I like it when I'm on the receiving end of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
me too.
but I don't know why people do that.
The other thing that I was thinking about was song lyrics. Do
Hmm.
you, because we talk about music, but I've never asked you this question before. when you listen, and this isn't just for writing, because I know that when you're writing your smutty stuff, you listen to praise music, which is just totally, which is totally
Mhm.
insane. But I can't say that because I listen to J-pop that I don't understand. So it's equally
Yeah,
nonsensical,
it's
but
sort
it
of
works
like
for both of us.
background noise. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it works for both of us. So it's great. Um, but in general, when you listen to music, do you listen for the lyrics? Like, do the lyrics have to make sense to you? Do they need to resonate with you, or do you just listen for sound?
I mostly listen for sound.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm up here in Canada, I get fed a lot of like French music. So, like
Oh.
if I listen to like if if I go on to iTunes or something,
Mm-hmm.
it'll show me some French stuff just
Mm-hmm.
because that's one of our official languages up here.
Yeah.
Or sometimes if I listen to the CBC music radio station,
Mm-hmm.
Canadians know what the CBC is.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll throw on some French stuff, and so I like it. I buy French music.
Yeah.
I did win the French award in grade 12, but there were
Ooh.
only 4 people in the classroom, so it wasn't very hard to win the best
Yes, it
marks.
is. It is. That's you were the top. Who cares?
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Three other people
Yeah,
lost. Okay, and you
yeah.
won. But
Okay.
what is the
Yeah.
French award? Wait, no, stop. What is the
Oh,
French
I got
award?
a it was for like top marks for French in grade 12, and I got a French English dictionary, like a
Oh.
massive one, which if I have the best marks in French,
Mhm.
should I theoretically need a dictionary,
No.
translation dictionary?
Why
Which
are
just
you
occurred to me.
getting
Yeah,
that?
maybe that should be for like the lowest marks in the class.
But are you you should have given that to the fourth place kid.
Yes.
But can you speak French well?
No, no.
You can read it though?
I can read it. I can't listen. I can't hear it. No.
Hmm.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like
I
I
do
can
know what you
hear
mean.
someone
Yeah,
speaking French, obviously,
yeah. Yes, I
but I
know what you
can't
meant.
translate auditorially.
Hmm.
Auditorily.
Hmm.
With speaking, it's a mix of my hard of hearing accent. I stumble
Hmm.
over letters, and
Hmm.
so in English, it's fine because
Yeah,
I've adapted, but to a
yeah.
new language,
Hmm.
or one I don't speak all the time, it becomes very clumsy in the mouth.
Yeah. I like
Uh,
clumping.
and then I have trouble with verb conjugations,
Yeah.
like what's the right ending for the verb. But reading it, I get about 90% of it.
Wow. That's really cool. Yeah, I love French. I can't
Mhm.
read or understand it. Like the extent of my French is and I don't even know if it's real because I never looked it up, is Home Alone when this is you're what the French call les incompetents. Like that's the
Okay.
extent of my French is that line from the Home Alone movie. That's
Mhm.
it. I got nothing else. Or
Okay.
maybe I parlez-vous français? Hmm?
Ah, oui, oui.
Yeah, that's all.
Did you ever watch Flight of the Conchords?
I did not.
Okay, so it's this like New Zealand show, but it's set in New York City, I think,
Hmm.
with Brett McKenzie and Jermaine Clement. I
Hmm.
think that's their names.
Hmm.
But they're like this music duo trying to make a living in New York City, and they're like, it's just really New Zealand humor from what I've come to
Hmm.
understand.
Hmm.
But they have a French song. You should look it up, and it's like they're trying to impress some French speaking
Oh yeah.
girls,
Oh yeah.
and they like start they sing a song and then they start going through all the words they know in French. It's like bibliothèque, baguette. So like library, bread.
Yeah. You'll
Yeah,
have to send it to me. Yeah, you'll have to send it to me. That sounds
yeah,
really
I'll dig
funny.
that up.
Yeah, for sure. I have for me, I listen to the lyrics first, which is why I started listening to Japanese and K-pop
Oh
and
yeah.
C-pop because the lyrics for me, I'm like I think you used the term heady last week, and I think
Yes.
I'm such a heady person that I really get in my own head with lyrics. I'm like, what is it that people like about this and why do they like this? And it becomes less about the sound of the music and the way more, and it becomes more about the way that it makes me feel because I'm breaking down the lyrics and trying to
Hmm.
understand like what this person was going through when they wrote the song.
Hmm.
So, like the song that we put on our the song that you like, I don't know if we
Hmm.
can say song names, but
Oh yeah, you
there's
can.
okay. Well, I'm not going to.
Okay.
There's a song that you like that we just started putting on some of our Instagram videos, which I love that Instagram lets us do that, by the way. Thank you to those artists that let us use your music on Instagram, us
Hmm.
little people. Because it makes the video so much better. But like the one that you like, it talks about like someone leaving, right? And
Right.
being hotter now and being better off. So like when I first heard it, I was like, who hurt him this way that he wants to listen to this? So I'm like, and my husband's like looking at me across the room, and I'm like, I wonder if somebody like broke his heart at some point, and this is the song he listens to. And when he thinks about this, and my husband's like, probably not. And I'm like, well, what if he did? I'm like, I want to know because I'm gonna beat that person up.
Oh yeah, no, no. So my hard of hearing stuff means that I often can't understand lyrics when they're in my own language. I can just pick out pieces of
Hmm.
words.
Hmm.
So like I didn't even know what the song was about until
Uh-huh.
after I sent it to you.
Did you?
Yeah, because then I'm
Well,
like,
it's
oh, maybe I should look at the lyrics. I wonder what they're actually saying.
yeah. What if you send me something? Well, it wouldn't matter if you send me something super dirty. We send each other super dirty stuff all the time. But no, I'm super into lyrics. Like, and it's also like the other end of the spectrum for me because like we were in a grocery store this morning and this song came on that I connect to a very difficult point in my life. And
Hmm.
it came on and my husband like looked at me, we were in the produce section. He was like, don't. And I was like, I'm not. And like my daughters are like, and my husband's like, it's okay. It's okay. Mommy's fine. And I'm like, no, I'm fine.
Hmm.
I really like this song. It's like, it's funny the way that music can kind of take you to a different place. Like
Hmm.
it can bring you like right back. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can totally come out of the other side of a bad memory. And then I mean like a bad time in your life and then you can hear a song that reminds you of that and then you like I kind of feel like you could fall right back into the way that you
Hmm.
were. You know what I mean? And then you got to like pull yourself out like, "Whoa, that was a long time ago." Right?
Yes.
Does
Yeah.
that happen
Yeah.
or is that just me?
So I don't really experience that, but
No.
I'm aware that other people do. Yeah.
Oh,
I think
I'm
it is
just
pretty common.
yeah, probably not. I'm probably just super weird. We'll cut that out then. Forget about it.
Oh no,
Kelly's
no, it
super
can stay
normal.
in. It can stay in.
I know. No. So yeah, that's my music listening style. That's why I started listening to J-pop and K-pop so that I could focus on writing and listening to the emotion instead of understanding. But I have a song that I used to use for you before we
Okay.
became friends,
All
like
right.
when you were just publisher Craig. So
Mm-hmm.
like when you the and it came on the first time that we met in the DM like afterwards and
Okay.
it was like a really happy song. So it made
Okay.
me super happy. So then anytime afterwards, like whenever I got like a DM from you and it was like, "Oh, this is really good," or "I like that," or "Yeah, he can bite his ass," or "He can't bite his ass," or "Use this." um I'd put the song on and I'd be dancing around the house and like, I'd have one of my kids telling me like, don't bump your butt at me. Like, yeah, but it was
Yeah.
funny. It was a funny song. It
Yeah.
was,
So I normally go with how the song sounds because I also listen sometimes to a group called Thievery Corporation, and
hmm
they do like world music. So there's
hmm
I would not even be able to identify the language because I'm not that good with it, but not
hmm
English, it's not French.
yeah.
It's something else, but I enjoy the music. I have no idea what they're singing about. It could be the most awful story that they're relating through music, and I
We
have
should
no
look it
idea.
up. I think
I'm
we
just
should do
enjoying it.
that. I think we should do that on an episode. We should put the songs on. Are we allowed? Oh, we're not allowed to play
No,
music.
no,
We
no.
can't play music though. How could we get, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that off air and see if there's a way to make that work. But yeah, but I also do, and I think other authors do this though. Now, I don't know if you do it, but I have theme songs for all of my characters. I have songs that
Oh.
accompany all of them.
Yeah, so I don't do that. Sometimes if I might match a certain album to
Hmm.
the mood of the book, and so
Hmm.
I'll play that on repeat.
Hmm.
But I don't really have theme songs for characters.
Yeah, I do. I do. Like in it when I was writing for You Can Call Me Cooper, like I have each character like at each point in their stories, like I had a certain song that I would put on. and I would just put it on repeat because it just
Hmm.
like helped reinforce the mood of what I was writing for that character. So yeah, when that book comes out, I'm gonna put that. I'll make that Spotify playlist public. So
Hmm.
for,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
the one person that reads the book can maybe relate to it. Which is another thing, right? Like I was thinking about that, and I'm wondering like how many authors feel the way that I do right now, because my debut novels, I have three that are coming
Hmm.
out next year. I have three books.
You do.
But I go through moments where I think it's going to be really great. And then I go through moments where I'm like, I should just let Craig have it and do whatever he wants with it and just like not even have anything to do with it because people are probably going to hate it.
That's normal. That's
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I under my YA name, I have like 8 books, I think,
Hmm.
and under my saucy adult name, I think I
Hmm.
have 20.
Hmm.
Some of them are shorter. So for anyone who's not read my stuff, it's not like 28 massive novels.
Hmm. Hmm.
But even after all that, I'm like, when I write something new, it's like, who's gonna read it? And like
Yeah.
everyone's gonna hate it, aren't they? Like
Well,
I still get that self-doubt. That's normal.
I'll read it and
Okay.
not everyone will hate it because I'll always read whatever you write because I'm a big fan.
Ah.
But I don't know. There's this doubt around me all of a sudden that was not there before, and I
Mhm.
do not like it at all. And I think that I'm having a lot to do with other authors now because now that I'm working with you guys, I can look at submissions and I can go over stuff with you and I'm like, wow, like am I even a good writer at all? Like what did you even see? Like and then
Mhm.
like I'll have like a full breakdown sometimes and my husband's like, okay, well, they don't just sign any book that comes to them. Like, your story is good. And I'm like, but what if nobody thinks it's good? And I think that was something I didn't experience for a really long time because I just
Mhm.
wrote the book and I was like, it's fine if nobody likes it. And now I see the reviews from people and I see other people being upset because their books aren't selling. And I'm like, oh, that makes me feel sad.
Mhm.
So I don't know about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is impossible for most people to actually stick to, but the best thing to do is when your book comes out, you do not look at reviews. I'm at the point where I do not look at reviews. I don't
Well,
visit the Amazon page ever for my own
yeah,
books.
yeah.
And it took
I look at
me
your
like,
reviews. I do.
yeah, and it's taken me because I think I'm at 11 years since I published my first thing.
Yeah.
And it's only in the last couple years maybe that I'm finally there's no temptation to look at
Yeah.
reviews.
I mean, I look at your reviews and then I
Mhm.
get most of them are good. So don't think that they're not. But they're like whenever I see one that I disagree with, like that Italian ferocity comes out of me and I'm like, control yourself. You are an executive assistant. Like you cannot go attacking someone like just because they're your bestie. But I think I think reviews are good and I understand them and we're gonna have a really cool episode coming up with two
Mhm.
reviewers that I just adore from
Yeah, I'm
Instagram.
looking forward to that
Yeah.
because, like, we have as publishers and authors, we have an idea of what people are looking for in a book, but from a
Mhm.
reviewer's end, is it the same thing that they're looking for? I think that's going to be
Yes.
a really interesting
Yeah, it's going to
conversation.
be super fun and I have a lot of fun with those two on Instagram. Like they're really they're really really fun people and they are not afraid to talk about the smut and to give us the stuff that we're looking for. So like you and I will get and hopefully the listeners will get and authors at home will get a good insight into what a reviewer does because we're going to talk to them about their process and their favorite tropes and stuff they want to see more of. So I think we're going to get a lot of good out of that. So I
Yeah.
do love reviews. I think reviews are really important.
And I think it's also important to recognize that a well-written critical review or a well-written bad
Hmm.
review can
Hmm.
actually be a good thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes these negative reviews, or critical reviews, they will highlight actual story structure flaws that you might not be aware of, and you can continue to
Hmm.
work on it. But also, if someone can explain why they don't like something in a review, someone else might be like, "Oh, I actually like those things. So maybe this is
Yes.
for me." Because one of my favorite TV shows, Charlie Jade, it only
Mm-hmm.
lasted one season. It was really good. I wish there was
Mm-hmm.
more.
Uh-huh.
Um, the whole reason I decided to watch it is because there was a bad review for it in the newspaper, and I was like,
Oh,
"This actually sounds right up my alley." And
really?
yeah, yeah, and I know I've bought books before based on bad reviews in the paper, because
Really?
they explain what it's about, and
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes I might agree with the flaws that the reviewer says, but if I
Mm-hmm.
can see past that because there are other things in the book that I enjoy,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so bad reviews are good sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know that I understand that. I think I will still cry.
Oh
Like
yeah, it
for
always hurts a little bit.
Yeah, like for our podcast, if anyone's tried to leave us a review, I know that you can, but I have the reviews turned off on purpose because Craig and I are doing this for fun and for the love of writing and to try and help other people. So like whether we have one listener who we make really happy or we have a bunch, of course I'd love for it to be a bunch, but I'm gonna be happy if we're happy. And
Yeah.
you know, so I learned early from you not to look at reviews, and I think I take that in everything that I do now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even with Goodreads, like we had to get some books moved under Craig's name because they were under the wrong author. And I was like, I don't want you going on Goodreads. I'll deal with it myself. So I had to reach out to them and take care of that because I don't want you going on Goodreads.
Hmm.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. And it's also important to remember that a critical review is not, it should not be a personal attack. I mean,
Yeah,
unfortunately, there are some reviews that are personal attacks. Those tend to be removed by
yeah,
Goodreads or Amazon, but it's a critical look at your book. It's not a
yeah.
critical look at who you are as a person.
Yeah, and I think that it's I think it's really disheartening when we have stuff that happens like in the author community where there are some that do try and sabotage others. I think that
Hmm.
that's and then I think that happens in any industry. I don't think it's just like in the writing community. I think that people take competitiveness to a whole nother level sometimes, and I think that that's pretty unfortunate,
Yeah,
especially in our industry where a lot of times we do like rely on reviews,
yeah, yeah. And
and word of mouth.
also, this is an industry where a lot of people know a lot of people. So
Hmm.
if you are intentionally trashing other authors in reviews to hurt their sales,
Yeah.
or if you are attacking a reviewer for leaving a less than stellar review on your book, like
Yeah.
word gets around.
All right. So we have coming up the Battle of the Best Besties is
We
our
do,
next episode that we
and we're
will
gonna
be
win.
recording.
We're gonna win.
We're definitely gonna win. There are no better
Uh,
besties.
do we have a team name? Oh wait, we're Team CC and they're Team BJ, right? That's what they decided.
Yeah.
Decided. Okay.
Yeah, Team CC and Team BJ. So we are recording we just call it a crossover, right? A
Yeah,
crossover
I think
episode.
that's a word we're using.
Yeah, yeah, with the guys from the Writer's Block podcast. It's a fantastic podcast. They do a live show, a live podcast where they allow people to talk on their show, which God, Craig, I give them so much they have so much I give them so much credit for that,
Because if
right?
people only knew how many times we've paused this podcast
Oh my
to
gosh.
talk about what we're going to talk about.
Right? And like and I listened to their podcast the other day because I think that, it's important when you're saying that you're supporting someone that you really do support them. You can't just
Right,
say you
right.
support someone just because you do. You know, you really need to like what they do. And I listened to the podcast and I laughed so many times and I
Mhm.
had so much fun. But they let their listeners just jump on and take part in the conversation, and Brandon and Jake are really good. I mean, and they had great, fantastic listeners, and like the audience participation was like fantastic, and they contributed so much to the conversation. But I don't know how they planned for it. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
amazing. Like it's really
Hmm.
cool. And like I can roll with the punches with the best of them, but like it was like midnight the other night when I was listening to it, and I was like mind boggled. Like like these guys are pros. And they
Mhm.
have, you know, and they have they just recorded their 40th episode and it was their second season they finished. And that's just like such a cool accomplishment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be there one day.
Yeah, I mean, and we're on episode 4. So I mean
Yeah. Only like have to multiply it by 10. That'll happen pretty
yeah,
soon.
but I'm excited to have them on, you know, not just for Battle of the Besties, which we'll get to in a minute,
Hmm.
but I mean, just to get the advice from them of how to run a successful podcast, and then, you know, like sharing advice like amongst writers, I think is just such a
Hmm.
powerful tool for all of us, you know, especially for me as a new writer, because you know, I have you and you're like my
Hmm.
sensei, but you know, it's always good for other people to help me too.
Yeah, yeah. Like I often say that writing and publishing is not a competitive business because like if we were selling dishwashers, you buy
Hmm.
one dishwasher. You're not
Right.
like, oh, I can't decide between these two. I'm gonna get two dishwashers. Whereas with books, like if you can't decide between two, you're gonna get both of them. How many
Yeah,
readers have a TBR pile that's like 40 books high
a
of
lot.
stuff that they couldn't just couldn't say no to, and then they're still buying more books. I mean, I do it. I
Yeah.
have my TBR pile is on the side of my bed, and it's like 6 or 8 books deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's not competitive. So they're
Yeah.
like authors and publishers and everybody in the business should be talking to each other and
Yeah.
supporting each other and sharing
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, and likewise with the podcast. I mean, like
Mhm.
there's a lot of writing podcasts and
Yeah.
I'm happy for other writing podcasts to want to have anything to do with us because I think that if you're doing a writing podcast, then that's great because you're helping someone who does what we all love, which is to write.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
and they do like the coolest stuff because I mean, they just did the cookbook episode.
That's I listened to that one. That was really
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm slowly working on some
Hmm.
cookbooks of my own, and it's like even though I've been in the
Hmm.
publishing and writing industry for like over a decade now, when it comes to cookbooks, I'm like, I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing.
Yes.
Like I got the recipe part, and I know I
Hmm.
need to improve my photography skills for the photo part, but
Hmm.
what do I do with this stuff? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna make that the best damn cookbook anyone's ever seen, by the way.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
will. I know, and we're working on your Pinterest tomorrow too. I can't wait.
we are. Yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Craig has a million great recipes. Well, probably not a million, but Craig has a ton of great recipes, especially for basic cookers like me, because I don't know. I run out of recipes, Craig. Like I get tired of the same stuff. Do you
Hmm.
get tired of the same stuff? Because it seems like
So
you
not
cook different stuff all the time.
so maybe what I share online is what I cook differently all the time, but
Hmm.
John and I do have some core recipes. So he
Hmm.
loves the various pesto recipes that I make. So
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
have pesto usually once a week, and we have spaghetti usually once a week or once every 2 weeks, and
Hmm.
got a couple other things that we have a regular rotation. But I do try
Yeah.
to spice it up with the occasional thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
The other night, I somehow ended up with absolutely no meat in our
Yes.
kitchen, and
Hmm.
so I made a mushroom and lentil stew that
Yes.
is served over mashed potatoes.
Hmm.
Sounded really interesting.
Hmm.
God, was it awful.
I was in
Plus,
Zoom with you. I forgot to ask you how it turned out
yeah, no, it was
afterwards.
awful. We have leftovers that I think we're going to force ourselves to eat tonight.
Oh,
But it also made both of us very, very gassy. It
oh
was
my
like
God.
sounded like trumpets in the
Oh
room with
my
us.
God. Well, remember, like you showed me the lentils, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like lentils. And I'm sorry, I sound stupid plenty of times on this podcast. I had never seen a lentil. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I had not seen a lentil
That's fine.
before. Yeah, and I had no idea what they're for, but I totally forgot to ask you how the recipe came out. So now I know it was terrible.
So in the recipe's defense,
Hmm.
I didn't actually follow the recipe. Like it said
Hmm.
to add this
Hmm.
ingredient. I
Hmm.
like just like it said add soy sauce. I'm like, okay, I'll add this much. And then it's like add white wine. And I'm like,
Like how
maybe
much?
like this much.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't bother scrolling up to the top of the screen where it said
Oh,
three
okay.
tablespoons or two
Yeah.
tablespoons.
Yeah.
So the flavor might be off and it might be
Hmm.
my fault.
Yes.
I
Maybe.
there's I think it's a Twitter account or an
Hmm.
Instagram account that I came across where
Hmm.
it's people giving stupid bad reviews to recipes. It's like One star. I didn't follow this recipe at all, and it turned out awful. One
What?
star. Or like I tried switching out the say it was I tried switching out the carrots with kale and it
Mhm.
turned out awful. And then the response was, "This is a carrot cake recipe. You can't switch the carrots with kale." So I feel
That's
like if I would have
funny.
commented on that recipe for how it turned out, the fault's on
Yeah,
me because
it
I did
would have
not
been
follow.
your fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I want to do an episode soon where we cook together.
Yeah.
And I haven't decided yet if we use one of your really cool recipes or we pick one because there's a couple of the authors on Instagram that also have recipes. So we need to decide
Hmm.
that. We need to decide whose recipe we're going to
I
use.
feel like it should not be one of my recipes
Okay.
because I would have like the home team advantage or the home field
Yeah.
advantage.
Well, yeah, you would. I mean, listen, it's not a competition. It's just going to be an
Mhm.
example of how terrible I cook, I guess. Baking I am very good at. Like baking I'm
Okay.
great at. And cooking Italian. Like cooking
Mhm.
Italian, forget about it. Like I could go with the best of them because that's what I know. It's anything outside of Italian or baking sweets.
Okay.
Forget about it. Just forget it.
So I've been trying to teach myself how to make gnocchi from scratch.
We could make gnocchi. You know
Yeah,
what?
like
I've
my
never made gnocchi from scratch, and I have a recipe. I
okay.
just haven't done it. I haven't used it.
So my Italian coworker gave me her mother's recipe,
Hmm.
but there's no measurements. It's
Okay,
like
but yeah. Well, you need to
mashed
know how to
potato, put it
read.
through the ricer,
Yeah,
add the egg, add the flour,
right.
but no measurements.
Yeah,
So
but
I have
does
no
it say
idea.
anything at all? Like nothing else? Because like usually I can read old lady Italian pretty good because that's how half of my recipes are. They're all old lady Italian that have been passed
Yeah,
down.
I can send it your way.
We'll see if
But
it says anything. Otherwise, I
yeah.
got one.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, and it does have the measurements, proper measurements.
Mhm.
But I need to try and translate it a little bit because I think it's in cursive. So I can also read old lady Italian chicken scratch cursive. So for you to do it, I probably need to translate it over for you. But yeah, we could do that. I
Okay.
mean, I won't have the home field advantage just for being Italian because I haven't made gnocchi before. I made a lot of other stuff, but I have not tried that recipe for
Have you
sure.
made other pasta before?
I
I've
have,
never made
but
pasta.
I don't have a pasta maker now because
Okay.
my mom had a pasta maker, but I don't have it. So,
Okay.
and I
Well, we
don't
don't need it for gnocchi, right? Because
no,
pasta maker is
no.
that press
Yeah, it's the
thing
thing
with
you
the
put the thing
wheel.
in.
Yeah.
You spin the thing. Craig and I are spinning our hands like a crank. So obviously you guys can't see that, but that's what we were doing, making cranking motions with
Hmm.
our hands. But yeah, I think that that would be fun because and remember I pitched that to you one time,
Hmm.
Cali cooks with Craig or cooking with Craig and
Yeah,
Cali.
yeah. Yeah, I
You
remember
remember?
that.
Probably thought I was crazy then. I feel like you probably told, did you tell John afterwards? Were you like, she's kind of
I
crazy?
don't think I did. No. Well, I wouldn't have said Callie's crazy. I would never say that.
Mm.
But I did not mention it to him.
I love the dynamic between us because it's very funny that there are different dynamics of co-hosts. You know, like there are like the sunshine and the grumpy, and then there's the both the
Hmm.
happy. And like I love so much that for you, like you consider yourself an introvert, but like when you're with me, you're not an introvert. And that makes me happy.
So I'm an introvert that has extrovert tendencies when I need it. So I think I mentioned once to you, but probably not
Hmm.
on this podcast. I
Hmm.
used to have a job where I had to sing and dance,
Hmm.
dressed as Blue from Blue's Clues. It was not an official license thing, so Blue's Clues people don't come after me.
No.
But yeah, so I'm not a singer nor am I a dancer. But I did that for a few years in a row.
Yeah.
Um,
It's so
yeah.
opposite of your personality. I can't even imagine it. Like I can't imagine you with kids and it was like
Hmm.
a backwater farm or something, right?
Yeah, it was one of those Halloween farms, and they
Yeah.
had like family-friendly stuff during the
Yeah.
day, so we had to figure out what Blue wanted to dress up as for Halloween.
Yeah. So, but for this Battle of the
Yeah.
Besties episode, I'm I'm not sure. Like we need to prepare, but I don't
Hmm.
know like how much preparation is cheating. Like, is there really such a thing
Right.
as cheating in this? Because first of all, I don't have the questions yet. and I am
Hmm.
the one that's going to come up with the questions, but you know, you and I don't cheat at games. So we absolutely are not talking about like actually cheating.
Hmm.
But what I mean is like, is it acceptable for us to just start sharing random things about each other just to make
I
sure,
think so.
right?
I think
Okay.
so.
Well, I told you how tall I was the other day. How tall am I?
Oh, crap.
See?
Uh,
We're
wait, wait, wait,
gonna
wait, wait. You did tell me you're shorter than me. 5'6",
lose.
5'8".
No, I'm not. I am not 5'8". I am 5'3". I am a tiny little Italian shrimp.
Oh, these hands were separate, not added together.
No, I was
Because I
like
saw one
five
hand with a
three,
5,
five
one hand
three,
with 3. I
five
thought it was
three.
like
Come
five
on.
eight. Add them together.
No, I am 5'3", and you are 5'10".
Yes. Okay, so one of us would win this question and one would
Look,
not.
I think that um I think we'll be fine. I do.
Mhm.
I don't think
Do you
that's gonna
think
come up.
do you think Jake and Brandon know how tall each other are?
Well, they're gonna, if they hear this podcast, they're gonna
That's
tell each other.
true.
Oh, wait, when is this one airing? We're gonna post this on Monday. So yeah, it depends on if they listen. You know what? This is how we'll know if they listen to the podcast or not. If they like text us because we have our group DM. So if they DM us, I totally know how tall he
Hmm.
is. I don't know. But I know that I did tell them that we do have a third party that reviews our content to make sure that everything is appropriate, so that sometimes things do get cut, so that it wouldn't be like technically up to us if we're playing something and the other person decides that it needs to get cut, because we gotta do what we gotta do.
So this third party that cut stuff, do you think we
Mhm.
could convince them to cut all the questions we get wrong?
Mm, I don't know. Maybe. I think we probably could, but and then we'll just record the ending where we just win. You want to
Yeah,
just sabotage the
yeah.
whole thing? We can't do that. But I do really, I'm really looking forward to it. But we talk enough throughout the day that I think that we could probably, I think we'll be fine. I'm the
What's my
besties.
favorite color? I know your favorite color.
That doesn't even count. It doesn't even, everyone, people who don't even know me know my favorite color, because I literally respond with my favorite color in every email. My signature has my favorite color in it. What is your favorite color? Is it green?
No, that is John's favorite color.
Oh, they say geniuses pick green. What's your favorite color?
It's blue.
It is blue. I'm cutting this. I'm not leaving this in. I'm cutting this. I am not leaving this in here. Yeah, no, and we're not saying it. So then if they ask what our
Okay.
favorite colors are,
All
we'll
right.
one up them. I don't know. And I know where you were born. You're born, but we're not going to say that right now. So hopefully they don't ask that. But I know where you were born. I don't know. We'll see.
So are you like writing the questions from your head like you would
Are
stack the deck in our favor, or are you like picking from a like a
No, I'm
set
not
of
going to
cards
stack
or
the deck in
something?
our favor. The questions I'm going to pull, I'm just going to actually, I think what I'm going to have my do is what I'm going to have my do. What I'm going to do is have my husband pull the questions and then just
Mhm.
put it in a doc for me, and then just ask them all to us at the same time. I'll ask them at the same time and then we can
All right.
respond. Because I thought that we could do, I have well, like I had a couple things, a couple ideas for some things, but I do want to just make sure that it's fair. But I also
Mhm.
want to make sure that neither team gets put in a position to answer something that they don't want to.
Right, right.
So luckily we're not live. So if anyone gets
Mhm.
asked anything, we can just take it out if we don't want to. But yeah, I think that'll be fun. I think we're gonna have to cut all of this that we just talked about. What do you think?
I think it could stay in.
You think? Okay. Stacking the deck in our favor. You think we're gonna look
Yeah,
good? You think we're gonna come out of
it's
that?
our podcast. We can do what we want.
It is our podcast, but yeah, the third party, we'll see if we can get him to swing things our way. And then yeah, and then we have the holiday episode, which is coming up after that, where we will have a bunch of really cool authors on. And then after that, we have the reviewer with we have a review episode coming up after that with two amazing reviewers from Instagram who are going to join
Yeah.
us, Craig.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Because we as writers and publishers, we think we know what reviewers are looking for. At least we hope we know. But reviewers are sort of the other end of that equation. And are they looking for the same thing? Are they looking for different things? What gets them excited? Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I
That'll be a
really
big
can't.
education
I
thing.
can't wait. And then especially, you know what? It will be useful for you and I because when we
Mhm.
eventually write our Christmas story,
Yes.
these two are like target audience for us. But
Yes.
I don't want to make it full on super smutty though. I know you want it to be super smutty. I think
Oh,
we
no,
could
no, no.
make it
I think it'd
mild
be like,
smutty.
yeah, no, I would be in agreement with that. I was thinking something very tropey, like
Yeah, yeah,
Hallmark
yes,
Christmas type
yes,
thing,
yes.
with some like, you know, scenes that Hallmark would not show. Uh,
No, yeah, no, we're not
but
going
only a few of
Hallmark. We're
them.
gonna be knocking it out. No, they're gonna bang it
Mhm.
out. It's gonna be
Yeah,
hot.
it'll be
Okay, that
Ballmark.
it will be Hallmark. It will be- Yeah, I like that idea. But we just have to find the time to actually write it because the both of us are working on our other books right now. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have
like,
about
yeah,
six books in progress, I think.
yeah.
There's
And
my thriller, my horror, Gay Love
hmm
4,
hmm
Frankenstein 2,
hmm
Drag Queens 2.
hmm
Those are the ones I've actually started or I'm partway through. And then I have like another half dozen that I know I want to do.
Yeah, but see,
But
this is
yeah.
why John said that we need to prioritize projects, and this is why I'm a part of your, well, this is not only why I'm a part of your life, but this is why I'm a big part of your life now, is so that I can help, I can help prioritize things. So like for us, we have our dedicated writing time where we write together
Yep.
now once a week, which is really good and it's super fun. But yeah, so once we finish these, maybe we'll get to the Christmas one. I don't know.
Yeah. The Christmas 2024 is still a long way away.
Yeah. And like I have a pretty good idea of how we can make it work, but I'm interested in hearing what they think so that
Hmm.
I can make sure that well, you have a pretty good idea already of what people want. You know, as a publisher, we do have
Well,
somewhat of an inside look based on what sells, you know,
a little bit, yeah.
a little bit. But I think that listening to it from them is going to provide a whole nother level of insight. And also
Hmm.
just like, I mean, I told them that they could just be as filthy as they wanted, which
Oh yeah.
they were both super happy about that. I was like, you do not have to hold back at all. Like, we're rated explicit for a reason. If you want to talk about it,
Hmm.
what was it, ball marking? we you can talk about whatever you want. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think we'll probably, I don't know, we'll do another episode with John or something. Who knows? We'll
Yeah.
see. We have a ton of fun authors coming up and a ton of fun stuff. And we hope that everyone will continue to listen. And oh my gosh, you know what? We don't
Hmm.
have a special guest. So that means
Uh-oh.
who's gonna do it? Not me, not it.
Oh, okay. So for listeners at home or
Mm.
wherever you are, I don't know where you listen. You're probably on the train. For listeners on the train, um, we
Train.
normally make well, we don't have, I mean like subways. We don't have subways in Winnipeg, but I'm imagining that people are listening on the subway.
I
Do you
don't
have
know. I feel
subways?
like we're
You don't
well,
have
we have
subways.
subways in like some areas, but I mean
Okay.
like I think that I don't know if a train would be like the most common. I think like people take
The
like Ubers
bus?
here a lot. Buses,
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm
Train
like
just sounded funny. It just made me
I'm
laugh. I
like
don't know.
super cheap. So,
I thought about
well,
the Orient Express as soon as you said it.
yeah.
The train.
Oh, the
Go
Orient
ahead.
Express. That's an interesting connection. I would have thought you'd say Hogwarts or something.
No. Mm-mm.
Uh, oh,
Mm-mm.
right. So what I was saying is, we normally make our guests say the final word or the final send-off sentence or statement or advice or recommendation.
And it's
And
usually really fun.
you said not me for you. So it
I
has to be
did.
me.
It has to be you.
Oh, good God. Final send-off words for this week or this episode are going to be
Callie is my bestie and we're gonna win.
Callie is my bestie and we're gonna win. We're gonna like mop the floor with Brandon and Jake, and they're gonna be sorry they ever agreed to a crossover episode.
There we go. See, it's the perfect send off. What could be better? And then I am going to let you also say the ending about where to follow us, because unless you want me to say it.
So you can follow us. You mean like social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I thought for a moment, I thought you were going to say where you could listen to us. And it's like, I know some of them, but I don't know.
Oh, no, you can listen to us anywhere. And if you're listening to us, you've
probably already found us. Yeah.
Hey, but I did get our spot before we say goodbye fully. I did get our Spotify Wrapped, even though we don't look at our stats. And I can tell you that we are a top 5 podcasts for many people. And I'm very, very happy about that. And I won't say the number, but if you're listening to this and you made us like you're number 1 and you're one of those people, thank you so much. Like, it means so much to me.
It does, yeah.
And to Craig too. And Craig didn't know. I just told him just now. He's just found out. And he's smiling really big. So
yes.
But we don't normally talk about reviews, like I said, or stats or anything. But Spotify tricked me into opening it because it was all pretty. So, but it was a nice surprise. So whoever you are, wherever you are, and wherever you're listening from, thank you so much. And we're so grateful.
Yeah, thank you. So if you want to follow us on social media, if you haven't already, and why haven't you, if you haven't already, I believe we're on X or Twitter, depending on what you want to call it, Instagram and TikTok. That's it. You have a TikTok account.
I do. And yeah, I do.
It's Cali Craig Talk. That's CaliCraigTalk. Cali Craig Talk. Sorry, I paused because I know that you're on Blue Sky. But
I am on Blue Sky, and you're on Blue Sky, but our brands are not on Blue Sky.
No.
Yeah, we don't have any brand page on Blue Sky. If you think that we should make one, then let us know and we'll make it. But like right now, there's not that much going on over there. It's really just 2 besties liking each other's posts. And there's not too much going on with our social media over there. So I'm not in a super rush. But if somebody really wants it, you want Cali and Craig Talk on Blue Sky, I'm happy to add it just for one person. I would do that. I would do it for sure.
Same with Threads, right?
Yeah.
Although certain family members have told you that Threads is where uncool people go. Threads, but I'm on there. I'm on there. So if I'm there, it's not that uncool.
I know, but you told me. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, no. So Threads is not uncool. If you're there, then it's not uncool. And I'm going to sign up then. I'll make sure to extend my thing. You're over there posting without me on Threads?
Yeah, I am. I just post about our new books. And the occasional gym selfie, which is shirts on. So people who don't follow me, don't worry. I don't do thirst traps, not yet.
It's not your shirt I'm worried about. We know what I am worried about. I am worried about your socks staying on. I am constantly telling Craig to keep his socks on. So, but yeah, no, he does have his shirt on in his gym selfies. So for anyone who wants to follow him, you can, but do not reach out to my bestie and try to befriend him, because I'm sorry, I'm already sharing him with his husband and that's enough. I can't afford to share him with anybody else. You agree, right?
I agree.
Yeah, sorry. John gets, what did I tell you the other day? John can have 10% of your emotion and I want the other 90%. Seems fair, right?
That seems fair, yeah.
It seems fair. He gets to live with you.
Yeah.
Right? He gets to watch movies with you. He gets to do everything else with you. So Cali gets the rest. Seems fair.
That seems fair.
It seems fair. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. It was super fun. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Bye.